happy good morning here on a very new day, guys. And we are taking a break, okay? 2 days of absolutely madness need to be digested. And therefore, we looking into the futures quite neutral, but the S&P is even up almost 1%. The Dow Jones is almost neutral, a little bit negative, and the Nasdaq is also almost neutral, a little bit positive. And therefore, I need to change the studio light actually in green. So here we go. I hope you had a great night. I'm obviously did all the night of research. No, I slept a couple of hours and prepared something for you this morning to have a look what is going on. So the markets are quite neutral. The S&P 500 seems to be higher. Other than that, I believe that actually I think this is broken here. I think this is not right. As you can see, the S&P is 3,094 in the futures, and yesterday we closed 3,130. So it's not right. But let me have a look for you guys. So we are on the very correct fundamentals here. Okay, so yeah, this looks much better. Okay, so here you can see the futures. The S&P 500 is a little bit negative, neutral. Dow also neutral, and Nasdaq also almost neutral. Therefore, oil a little bit down here with 1.6%. But other than that, we are starting a little bit relaxed of this morning. Okay. Therefore, we have a couple of news we have news outlets saying that the futures are dropping a little bit, obviously taking some break. But however, the overall situation doesn't get better, right? We have a record spike in US cases reported in 6 states, guys. This is obviously very concerning on the first look. So I'm very curious what will happen, because as you know, we are following the cases very closely, and as you can see, we are spiking here a little bit. We're going out of this trend. Moreover, if you're looking by regions, like for example Arizona, then you see that also here it's an uptick. Moreover, in Florida as well, here it's a record high even as of yesterday or day before yesterday. Then we have another state that is really affected is also Texas, right? Look at that. I mean, this is concerning, obviously, especially when we are looking also into the hospitalization capacity, right? This is the most important thing, how the US hospitalized situation will look like. So this will be interesting to watch, and it will be also to watch if a vaccine news can bring down this fear that this is creating on the market. This will be the big question, guys. Other than that, we have a couple of more news here, and this is quite interesting that I found US banks profits plunged 70% as they are putting loss provisions. Now, there's 2 things to that. First of all, you have to understand that banks are making their money by lending money, okay? This is one of their main business, and as rates are low, those banks are heavily affected. And therefore, you see, for example, lots and lots of banks are having now problems to really, let me see if I can pull it out here on the other side. So you can see here, for example, this is Goldman and Sachs. They actually went quite flat. So here was the lowest point, which was, sorry, that's not the one. So here was the lowest point of mid of March. And since then, they could recover, but not that much of a recovery like other industries or anything. And this goes for many banks out there because, you know, with interest rates, this chart looks almost identical here, because guys, banks are making the money with this kind of things. Plus, they have on the other side the huge burden, okay, that more and more of loans are getting bad, for example, because companies cannot pay it back or individuals cannot pay it back because the economical situations are toughened. So this is very important to watch, guys. But obviously, guys, if we see the Fed so active, right, then there's no way that this should become a bigger problem, because the Fed will just say, you know, we will be there with a very big portion of new, freshly printed dollars, guys. Don't worry, we are very, very hardworking here at the Fed, as you can see. So this is important to understand. So banks are currently those affected businesses as well, guys, that are not doing that well. So moreover, we have obviously yesterday we had the Federal Reserve Jerome Powell being questioned by the Senate, which happens, you know, on regular basis, and he basically said, to underline his strategy, obviously he needs to justify the overall situations, why he prints so much money, why he helped so much with stimulus into the market. He will need to rectify that, and he need to, you know, justify that, and therefore he is doing all this Senate press conferences and questionnaires and everything. So he is, as a employee of the United States and a distributor of tax money and so on, and creating of inflation or deflation, he obviously needs to make sure that he do the very best for the US and A. And therefore, you know, he obviously says, hey, we are seeing a recovery. He's seeing a bottom, that from here now on, it seems that the recovery will go on and accelerate, but he's still saying, you know, it's a long road, and therefore, you know, justifying obviously his steps to say, you know, until 2022, we deciding that the interest rate will stay low, which is, you know, the current status. So he needs to justify that, and therefore he says, no, therefore we definitely see a long time of a recovery. We see a recovery, but, you know, it will be a long way to go. And therefore this was happening yesterday, which was very important, guys. Then we having, I think that's it from the news side. On the other hand, I would like to let you know, guys, that we are having a couple of not so important events today if we're looking into the calendar. So this is something that you should do also every morning, just to have a look, or just watch here the Wolf of Dubai channel. But this is very important also, in my personal opinion, to see what is really important today, Wednesday, 17th of June. So you see here the GBP, the Great Britain Consumer Price Index, which will show us how are the consumers are, you know, in the mood of spending money or saving money. This is important. Here you can see the importance. Other than that, I don't saw that much of important, especially in the US, don't much important news here. Then we have here also a consumer price index from Canada, which is important. And then, you know, we have another Fed chair press conference, which is, also important, but, you know, more or less we know what it's all about. There will be no surprises. Therefore, I believe that it will be more interesting what will happen tomorrow, because tomorrow we will see another initial jobless claims that will show us if the jobless claims are reducing and therefore recovery is really ongoing. And I think this is quite interesting and important to see. And therefore, I hope you have a very successful day. I'm going now. This is a relaxed day. I'm going now to the beach. If you want to follow me, then follow me on Wolf of Dubai Danny on Instagram. There you can see some stories when I'm not vlogging or not live streaming. You can join me on the beach where I will post some stories or whatsoever. So this was a very, very smooth transition. Thank you very much for watching, and I see you just in a couple of hours with the daily vlog. And therefore I wish you a super successful trading day, and I see you later. Thank you.